Success isn't about what you do once in a while. It's about what you do every single day, even when no one is watching. Have you ever started something, worked hard for a while, and then found yourself wondering why things aren't moving faster? Maybe you've even thought about giving up because it doesn't seem worth it. You're not alone in feeling this way. It's easy to get discouraged when progress isn't immediate. But here's the truth. Success doesn't happen overnight, and it certainly doesn't happen without consistency. In this video, I'm going to talk about why success demands consistency. It's not about quick wins or big breakthroughs. The real key to achieving what you want is showing up every day, putting in the effort, and staying focused on your goal, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Consistency is what turns ordinary efforts into extraordinary results. If you're tired of starting and stopping, if you're frustrated with not seeing the results you expect, this video is for you. I'm going to share with you how small, consistent actions add up to big, lasting changes. It's about creating habits that set you up for success, even when you don't see immediate rewards. The real secret isn't talent, luck, or a perfect plan. It's simply the ability to keep going, day after day, no matter what. So stick with me. If you want to learn how to stop doubting yourself, start making progress, and truly unlock your potential, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Let's dive in. Number 1, successful people do what others won't. Success doesn't happen by accident. It's not a lucky break. It's not about being in the right place at the right time. Success happens because some people are willing to do what others refuse to do. That's the truth. It's not a mystery. It's not a secret. It's a choice. And that choice is made every single day. I want you to think about the people who are at the top of their game, the ones who seem to have it all together, the ones who keep winning. Do you think they got there by doing the same things as everyone else? Do you think they took shortcuts? Do you think they skipped the hard parts? No. They made a decision to do what most people won't, and that's why they have what most people never will. The reality is, most people want success, but they don't want to do what it takes to get there. They want the reward, but they don't want the effort. They want the results, but they don't want the sacrifice. They want the easy way, and when they realize there isn't one, they quit. They come up with excuses. They tell themselves it's not possible. They blame circumstances. But the ones who make it, they don't make excuses. They don't wait for things to be perfect. They take action, even when it's uncomfortable. It's not that successful people don't feel tired. It's not that they don't feel like giving up sometimes. It's not that they don't have doubts. They just don't let those feelings control their decisions. They show up anyway. They put in the work. They stay consistent. And because of that, they separate themselves from the rest. I'll tell you what the difference is between those who succeed and those who don't. It's not talent. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's discipline. It's the ability to do the things that others won't, even when they don't feel like it. That's what makes all the difference. Let's be honest. Most people don't want to wake up early. They don't want to push themselves when no one is watching. They don't want to keep going when progress is slow. They want it to be easy, and when it's not, they stop. But the winners, they don't wait for things to be easy. They make a decision to push through no matter what. Think about the athlete who wakes up before the sun to train while everyone else is still in bed. Think about the entrepreneur who puts in extra hours while everyone else is taking a break. Think about the student who studies while others are out having fun. These are the people who get ahead, not because they're better, not because they're lucky, but because they made a choice. And that's what it all comes down to. Choice. You have to choose to do what most people won't. You have to choose to keep going when it's tough. You have to choose to push yourself when no one else is around to push you. Because if you don't, someone else will. And they'll be the ones who succeed while you're still wondering what happened. Most people quit when they don't see instant results. They give up too soon. They expect success to come quickly, and when it doesn't, they decide it's not worth it. But the truth is, success takes time. It takes effort. It takes patience. And the ones who are willing to stick with it, even when it's hard, are the ones who win. It's easy to do what's comfortable. It's easy to take the easy way out. But easy won't get you where you want to go. If you want something different, you have to be willing to do something different. You have to be willing to push past your limits. You have to be willing to stay disciplined, when everyone else is giving up. I'm not saying it's going to be fun all the time. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm saying it's going to be worth it. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts. You don't want to wake up years from now wishing you had done more, wishing you had stayed consistent, wishing you had given it your all. Because here's the thing, every day you have a choice. You can do what most people do and stay where you are, or you can do what most people won't and go after what you really want. That's the difference between success and failure. That's the difference between winning and losing. So ask yourself, what are you willing to do that others won't? Are you willing to wake up earlier? Are you willing to put in the extra hours? Are you willing to push yourself, even when you don't feel like it? Because if you are, success is inevitable. It's just a matter of time. And I'll tell you this, there's no better feeling than knowing you gave it your all. There's no better feeling than knowing you did what most people weren't willing to do. There's no better feeling than standing at the top, looking back at everything you overcame, and knowing that you earned it. Number 2, hard work only works if you keep doing it. Everyone says they're willing to work hard. Everyone likes the idea of success, of pushing themselves, of doing whatever it takes to get ahead. But here's the real question. Are you willing to do it every single day? Not just when you feel motivated, not just when things are exciting, not just when you're seeing quick results. Because let me tell you something. Hard work doesn't work unless you keep doing it. It's not about one great effort. It's not about pushing yourself for a few weeks and then expecting to see massive results. It's about showing up again and again, even when nothing seems to be happening. It's about putting in the effort when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you don't feel like it. That's what separates the ones who succeed from the ones who quit too soon. Most people work hard for a little while. They start with energy. They start with excitement. They start with big goals. But then reality hits. The progress is slow. The results aren't immediate. It feels like nothing is changing. And that's where most people stop. That's where they convince themselves that maybe it's not worth it. Maybe they weren't meant to succeed. Maybe they should just settle for where they are. But the ones who make it, they understand something important. Consistency beats intensity. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get everything right, but you do have to keep going. Because the truth is, success isn't about how hard you work for a week. It's about how hard you work for years. It's about how you keep showing up, day after day, when most people would have given up. Think about it this way. Imagine you go to the gym and push yourself harder than ever before. You lift heavy. You run fast. You sweat like crazy. You give it everything you've got. And then you go home, look in the mirror, and expect to see a six-pack. But guess what? Nothing has changed. You still look the same. You don't see the results you want. So what do? Most people would quit. Most people would say, well, I tried, but it's not working. But here's the reality. If you had just kept going, if you had kept pushing yourself, if you had stayed consistent, the results would have come. Not in a day, not in a week, but over time. Because hard work only works if you keep doing it. And it's the same with everything. You can't build a business by working hard for a month and then stopping. You can't master a skill by practicing for a few days and then quitting. You can't change your life by making an effort once and expecting everything to be different. You have to commit to the process. You have to be willing to put in the effort, even when the results aren't immediate. I see so many people get stuck in a cycle. They start something new. They go all in. They work as hard as they can. But as soon as things get difficult, as soon as the excitement wears off, they slow down. They lose momentum. They stop pushing themselves. And then they wonder why they never reach their goals. It's because hard work isn't enough. You can work hard for a day, a week, even a month. But if you don't stay consistent, none of it matters. You can't just work hard when it's convenient. You have to do it when it's inconvenient. You have to do it when it's boring. You have to do it when you're not in the mood. That's when it really counts. Because here's the truth. Everyone is motivated at the beginning. Everyone works hard when it's new and exciting. But the ones who actually succeed, they work hard when no one else does. They show up when no one is clapping for them. They keep going when no one is watching. That's the difference. And look, I know it's not easy. I know there are days when you're exhausted. I know there are days when you feel like nothing is working. I know there are days when you question whether it's even worth it. But those are the days that matter the most. Those are the days that separate you from the rest. Because most people stop when things get hard. They stop when they don't feel like it. They stop when they don't see immediate rewards. And that's why most people never reach their full potential. They don't understand that success is built in the moments when no one else is willing to put in the work. So if you're tired, if you're frustrated, if you're wondering if all your effort is really going to pay off, let me tell you this, it will. But only if you keep going. Only if you refuse to quit. Only if you understand that the real power of hard work isn't in what you do once. It's in what you do every single day. And that's the challenge. Can you keep going even when no one is watching? Can you stay disciplined when motivation fades? Can you push yourself when you'd rather take it easy? Because if you can, you're already ahead of most people. The rewards will come, the results will show, the success will happen. But only if you stay consistent. Because at the end of the day, hard work doesn't work unless you keep doing it. And that's the truth. Number 3. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. Anybody can wake up one day, feel motivated, and say, this is it. This is my time. I'm going to change my life. And for the first few days, maybe even a few weeks, they push hard. They stay focused. They do the work. But then what happens? The excitement fades. The motivation disappears. The energy they had at the beginning, it's gone. And then what do? They stop. They slow down. They lose momentum. And before they know it, they're back to where they started. This is why motivation is never enough. Because motivation comes and goes. It's unpredictable. Some days you wake up ready to take on the world. Other days, you just want to stay in bed and do nothing. If you rely on motivation, you'll never be consistent. You'll only do the work when you feel like it. And that's not how success happens. You have to replace motivation with discipline. Discipline is what keeps you going long after the excitement is gone. It's what makes you do the work, even on the days when you don't feel like it. It's what separates those who start from those who finish. Think about the people who achieve real success, the ones who build great businesses, the ones who reach the top of their field, the ones who change their lives completely. Do you think they woke up every day feeling motivated? Do you think they always felt inspired? No, but they showed up anyway. They put in the work. They stayed disciplined. That's the difference between winners and everyone else. Winners don't wait to feel like doing the work. They do it because it needs to be done. They understand that if they only worked when they felt like it, they'd never get anywhere. Motivation is like a spark. It's exciting. It makes you feel alive. But a spark doesn't last. You can't build a fire with just a spark. You need something stronger. You need something that keeps burning, even when the spark is gone. That's what discipline is. It's the fuel that keeps you going when everything else tells you to stop. Most people never reach their full potential because they spend their whole lives chasing motivation. They wait for the right moment. They wait for inspiration to hit. They wait until they feel ready. But success doesn't wait. If you're always waiting for the perfect moment, you'll be waiting forever. You have to train yourself to take action, whether you feel like it or not. You have to stop letting your emotions control your actions. You have to stop making decisions based on how you feel in the moment. Because if you do, you'll never be consistent. Think about this. How many times have you set a goal, felt excited about it, and then lost interest after a few weeks? How many times have you started something new, only to quit when the excitement wore off? That's what happens when you rely on motivation. You get stuck in a cycle of starting and stopping, and that cycle leads nowhere. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't care if you're tired. Discipline doesn't care if you're in the mood. Discipline says, do it anyway. And that's why disciplined people win, because they keep going when everyone else quits. You have to make discipline a habit. You have to make it a part of who you are. That means showing up every single day. No matter what, that means sticking to your plan, even when you don't feel like it. That means doing the work, even when no one is watching. It won't be easy. There will be days when you want to quit. There will be days when you question if it's even worth it. There will be days when everything in you is telling you to take a break, to slow down, to let it go. But those are the days that matter most. Those are the days that define who you are. Because anyone can work hard when they feel good. Anyone can stay focused when things are exciting. But success is built on the days when you don't want to do it, but do it anyway. That's what you have to train yourself to do. You have to wake up and go after your goals, no matter how you feel. You have to commit to the process, even when it's not fun. You have to push yourself, even when no one is pushing you. Some people look at successful people and think, they must be different. They must have some secret. But the truth is, they don't. They just refuse to quit. They refuse to let their feelings dictate their actions. They refuse to rely on motivation. And if you want to win, you have to do the same. You have to take control of your mind. You have to take control of your actions. You have to decide that no matter what, you will keep going. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how motivated you were at the beginning. It doesn't matter how excited you felt when you first started. What matters is if you had the discipline to keep going when that motivation disappeared. Number 4, small efforts, repeated daily, lead to big wins. It's not about having one great day of effort. It's about the things you do over and over again. The small actions, the little habits, the daily disciplines. Those are what create real results. Most people think success comes from big, dramatic moves. But that's not true. Success comes from the little things you do every day. The small efforts that seem insignificant in the moment, but add up over time. Think about anything great that has ever been achieved. A great athlete doesn't become the best in the world because they had one amazing practice. A successful entrepreneur doesn't build a thriving business because they had one good idea. A musician doesn't master their craft because they practiced once. It's the repetition. It's the commitment. It's the willingness to do the same things every single day, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Most people underestimate the power of small efforts. They want instant results. They want to see big changes overnight. And when that doesn't happen, they get discouraged. They think their efforts don't matter. They think they're wasting their time, and eventually they give up. But the ones who succeed, they understand something important. Every little effort counts. Every decision, every action, every choice you make, it all adds up. The problem is most people don't see the results right away. They put in the effort for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, but nothing seems to change. So they stop. They convince themselves that maybe it doesn't work. Maybe they're not good enough. Maybe it's not worth it. But what they don't realize is that success is a delayed response. The results don't show up immediately, but that doesn't mean they're not coming. Imagine planting a seed. You water it every day. You give it sunlight. You take care of it. But for a long time, nothing happens. You can't see any growth. You might even start to wonder if the seed is even alive. But then, one day, something changes. A little sprout breaks through the soil. And from that point on, it grows and grows. That's how success works. The early efforts don't always show results right away. But that doesn't mean they're not working. Every time you take action, you're building something. You're creating momentum. You're setting yourself up for the breakthrough that will come later. The challenge is having the patience to keep going, even when you can't see the progress. That's where most people struggle. They start strong, but they don't stay consistent. They want fast results. And when they don't get them, they stop. But if they had just kept going, if they had just stayed with it, they would have seen the results they wanted. Think about the people who achieve real success. They aren't necessarily the most talented. They aren't always the smartest, but they are the ones who refuse to quit. They keep putting in the effort day after day, even when no one else sees the work they're doing. And eventually their consistency pays off. The truth is, if you commit to small efforts every day, success is inevitable. You may not know exactly when the results will come, but they will come. The key is to focus on the process, not just the outcome. Instead of obsessing over how far you have to go, focus on what you need to do today. Focus on the small actions that move you forward. Some days it won't feel like you're making progress. Some days you'll feel stuck. Some days you'll wonder if it's even worth it. But those are the days that matter the most. Those are the days that test you. Those are the days that separate the ones who succeed from the ones who quit too soon. Success is about consistency. It's about doing the work every single day, whether you feel like it or not. It's about trusting the process, even when you can't see the results. It's about understanding that small efforts, repeated daily, lead to big wins over time. Number 5. Your daily actions reveal your true priorities. It's not about the dreams you talk about. It's about what you do every single day. Your daily actions tell the truth about what really matters to you. A lot of people have big goals. They say they want to be successful. They say they want to be in better shape. They say they want financial freedom. But when you look at how they spend their time, it doesn't match up with what they claim to want. They talk about success, but they waste hours scrolling through their phone. They say they want to be healthy, but they make excuses when it's time to exercise. They say they want to build something great, but they spend their free time on distractions instead of working toward their goals. The truth is, your priorities are not what you say they are. Your priorities are what you do every day. If something really matters to you, it will show in your actions. And if it doesn't show up in your actions, then it's not a priority. It's just a wish. A lot of people say they don't have time. They say they want to be successful, but they're too busy. They say they want to improve, but they have too many responsibilities. But the reality is, everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't time. It's how they use it. The people who succeed make time for what matters. They don't waste time on things that don't move them forward. They structure their day around their goals, instead of letting distractions take over. If you want to know what your real priorities are, look at how you spend your time. Look at what you do first thing in the morning. Look at what you do when you have free time. Look at what you do on the weekends. That will tell you everything you need to know. If you say you want to be successful, but spend your mornings hitting the snooze button, success isn't really a priority. If you say you want to build a business, but spend your evenings watching TV, then business isn't really a priority. If you say you want to be in great shape, but never make time for exercise, then health isn't really a priority. Your priorities aren't just words. They aren't just ideas. They are your daily choices. Every time you make a decision, how you spend your time, what you focus on, what you put your energy into, you are revealing what truly matters to you. A lot of people wait for the right time. They say, I'll get serious about my goals when life settles down, or I'll start working on my dreams when I have more time. But that's just an excuse. Life is always going to be busy. There will always be distractions. There will always be reasons to put things off. If you don't learn to make time for your goals now, you never will. Successful people don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait until they feel ready. They don't wait until they have extra time. They make the time. They find a way to get things done, even when life is busy, because they know that if something truly matters, they have to act on it now. Not someday, not later, not when it's convenient, but now. You have to be honest with yourself. If you're not making progress, it's not because you don't have time. It's because you haven't made it a priority. And until you do, nothing will change. Think about how you spend your day. Think about the things you do over and over again, because those things are shaping your future. The habits you have right now are creating the results you will see months from now, years from now. If your daily habits don't align with your goals, you will never reach them. The good news is, you have the power to change. You don't have to stay stuck in the same patterns. You can choose to start making different decisions. Starting today, you can take control of your schedule. You can cut out distractions. You can replace time-wasting activities with actions that move you forward. It's not about being perfect. You don't have to be working every second of the day, but you do have to be intentional. You do have to be aware of how you're spending your time. Because if you're not careful, life will slip by. And one day you'll look back and wonder where the time went. The people who achieve great things in life don't have more hours in the day than you. They don't have some secret advantage. They just make different choices. They prioritize their goals. They take action day after day, even when they don't feel like it. If you want to change your life, start by changing your daily habits. Stop talking about what you want and start showing it in your actions. Make your goals a priority, not just when it's convenient, not just when you feel motivated. every single day. Because success isn't something you wait for. It's something you create, one choice at a time. Number 6. The best keep learning, practicing, and improving. You have to be willing to keep learning, practicing, and improving. Success is not something you reach once and then stop. It's a lifelong process. The best in the world don't get to the top and stay there by chance. They keep sharpening their skills, refining their craft, and pushing themselves to be better every day. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that once they reach a certain level, they can relax. They believe that once they achieve something, they can stop learning. But that's not how it works. The moment you stop growing, you start declining. The world keeps moving forward. And if you're not improving, you're falling behind. If you look at the greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the top performers in any field, they all have one thing in common. They never stop learning. They never stop practicing. They never stop improving. They don't just rely on their past success. They push themselves to get better every single day. Think about the people who reach the top and then disappear. You see it all the time. Someone works hard, builds momentum, starts winning, and then they get comfortable. They stop putting in the same effort. They stop refining their skills, and before they know it, they're not at the top anymore. Success is never guaranteed. It doesn't last forever unless you work to maintain it. That's why the best keep learning. They keep practicing. They keep improving. They don't let their ego get in the way. They don't assume they know everything. They stay humble enough to realize that there's always more to learn. The best performers in any field have a habit of pushing themselves, even when they don't have to. Even when they're already successful, they look for ways to improve. They don't settle. They don't say, "I've made it." They say, "What's next? How can I be better?" If you want to be great at something, you have to commit to learning. You have to dedicate yourself to practicing. You have to be willing to improve, even when you think you're already good enough, because there's no such thing as good enough. If you want to be the best, think about someone who starts going to the gym. In the beginning, they make progress fast. They see results. They get stronger. They feel better. But then they reach a plateau. Their progress slows down. And a lot of people quit at that point. They think, maybe this is as far as I can go. But the ones who succeed, they push through. They change their routine. They learn new techniques. They find ways to improve. And eventually they break through that plateau and reach the next level. It's the same with anything in life. When you're starting out, progress comes quickly, but then it slows down. It gets harder, and that's the point where most people give up. But the best, they push harder. They keep going. They find new ways to get better. If you want to be successful, you have to adopt that mindset. You have to make learning a daily habit. Read books, study people who are ahead of you, learn from their experiences. If you want to be a great speaker, listen to great speakers. If you want to be a great entrepreneur, study great entrepreneurs. If you want to be a great athlete, watch how the best train. Success leaves clues. There's always something to learn, but most people don't take the time to do it. They think they already know enough. They think they don't need to improve. And that's why they stay stuck. Every day you have a choice. You can choose to get better, or you can choose to stay the same. You can choose to learn something new, or you can choose to assume you already know enough. And that choice will determine where you end up. The best don't let their success make them lazy. They don't let past achievements make them complacent. They stay hungry. They stay curious. They keep learning, practicing, and improving. Because they know that's the only way to stay ahead. If you want to be successful, make that commitment. Don't just work hard once. Don't just practice for a short time. Make learning, practicing, and improving part of your daily routine. Keep pushing yourself. Keep refining your skills. Keep growing. Because the moment you stop, you start falling behind. And if you want to stay ahead, if you want to keep winning, you have to make growth a lifelong commitment. Number 7. Missing one day can turn into missing a lifetime. It's easy to convince yourself that skipping something here and there won't hurt your progress. Maybe you think, it's just one day. I'll make up for it tomorrow. But here's the reality. Missing just one day can quickly turn into missing a lifetime. Let me explain what I mean. When you set out to reach a goal, You do so with a clear vision of what you want. You might want to lose weight, get a promotion, or improve your skills in some way. Whatever your goal is, it takes consistent action to get there. Every single day, you're building the foundation for your future. But when you skip a day, you're not just delaying progress, you're making it harder to get back on track. Think about it like this. If you're running a race and you stop for a moment, it's easy to convince yourself that it's okay because everyone needs a break. But that one moment can turn into 2 moments, then 3. And suddenly you're no longer running the race. You're watching it from the sidelines, telling yourself you'll catch up tomorrow. The problem is tomorrow never really comes. That's the danger of missing just one day. It's easy to let the little things slide, thinking they don't matter. But those little things, those small habits you let slip, pile up. They add up over time, and before you know it, a missed day turns into a missed week, and then a missed month. Before you realize it, your goal seems so far out of reach. And here's where it gets even worse. When you let one day slip, you start to lose momentum. Momentum is powerful. It's what keeps you going when you don't feel like it. It's the fuel that drives you to push through the tough days. But once you lose momentum, it becomes 10 times harder to get back into the rhythm. The longer you go without taking action, the more difficult it becomes to start again. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first it's small. It doesn't seem like much. But the more you ignore it, the bigger and harder it gets to stop. And eventually, it might feel like that snowball has gotten so big, you'll never be able to get back on track. The truth is, when you give in to the temptation of missing just one day, you're setting yourself up for failure. It's not the single missed day that's the problem. It's the pattern you create when you let that day slide. One missed day is a little thing, but when you add up all the little things you've let go, you start to see how much you've lost. And that's how it works. It's not about big dramatic moments. It's about the small choices you make every day. Do you show up, even when you don't feel like it? Do you push through, even when it's hard? Or do you let the excuses pile up and allow yourself to skip just one more day? Success isn't built on grand gestures. It's built on the little things you do every day. And those little things add up. It's not about how many days you work hard. It's about making sure that those days add up to something meaningful. I want you to think about your goals. Think about the things you want to achieve. Now think about the small steps you take every day toward those goals. When you let those steps slide, it's easy to lose sight of what you're working for. It's easy to think that the results won't come, but consistency is what gets you there. You can't afford to let one day turn into a week, and a week turn into a month. You've got to stay consistent. Here's the thing, you don't have to be perfect. No one is perfect. Everyone has days when they don't feel like working, when they don't feel motivated, when they'd rather just take a break. But the key to success isn't in never missing a day. It's in showing up every day, no matter what. It's in getting back on track when you do slip up, and not letting one day derail your entire journey. You can't afford to let your goals slip through your fingers. You have to be relentless. You have to be committed. You have to make the decision that every day counts. Because when you decide that every day matters, you'll find that nothing can stop you. So what happens when you miss a day? You get back up. You don't make excuses. You don't let guilt and frustration take over. You simply move forward. You get back on track, and you keep going. Because it's not about perfection, it's about consistency. And that consistency is what will carry you to success. Every day matters. Every choice you make matters. Don't let one missed day turn into a missed lifetime. Keep going. Keep showing up. Because the results, the success, the life you want, are all waiting for you on the other side of consistency. Stay in the game, and don't stop. Number 8. Stay on track even when you don't feel like it. There are going to be days when you don't feel like doing the work. That's just the reality of the situation. You might wake up and feel tired. Or maybe you're overwhelmed by everything on your plate. Or perhaps the motivation you had just isn't there anymore. You might even feel like taking a break and putting everything off for a while. But here's the truth that so many people don't realize. The days you don't feel like it are the days that matter the most. If you can push yourself to work, even when you don't feel like it, that's when you truly start to separate yourself from the rest of the pack. You've probably heard people say, just follow your passion, and the motivation will come. And while that sounds good in theory, it's simply not enough to rely on passion alone. Passion will get you started, but passion won't keep you going. What keeps you going when things get tough, when your energy is low, and when your mind is telling you to rest? It's discipline. It's the commitment to your goal. It's showing up and doing the work, even when you don't feel like it. You see, motivation is a fleeting thing. It comes and goes. It's like a spark that can light the fire, but without fuel, it dies down just as quickly as it started. That's why you can't depend on motivation to carry you through. If you wait for the perfect moment to feel inspired, you'll be waiting forever. You'll never get the results you want. Discipline, on the other hand, is what will keep you moving forward when motivation isn't there. Discipline is what makes you take action when you'd rather do anything else but work. Think about it this way. If you only worked on your goals when you felt like it, you'd never make any progress. Imagine if an athlete only practiced when they felt like it. They would never improve. They would never get stronger, faster, or better. The same goes for anyone striving to achieve something. It doesn't matter if you don't feel like working out, writing, studying, or putting in the effort today. What matters is that you show up and put in the work anyway. The consistency of showing up is what makes the difference. It's the ability to act in spite of how you feel that moves you forward. We all know how it feels to get tired, to feel like taking a break, or to think that maybe today isn't the day to work hard. But if you let those feelings control you, you'll never accomplish anything. You can't wait for the motivation to come before you start working. You have to get to the point where you work because you made a commitment to yourself. You have to remind yourself that success isn't just about big moments of inspiration or bursts of energy. It's about consistently doing what needs to be done, no matter how you feel at the moment. Look, it's natural to have days where you don't feel like pushing forward. We're all human, and we all go through times when we're mentally and physically drained. But here's the thing, those are the moments that matter. Those are the moments that define who you are, and whether or not you're serious about your goals. You have to dig deep and ask yourself, are you willing to push through and do the work, even when you'd rather be doing something else? Are you committed to your success, even when it's hard? The answer to that question is what will separate you from those who give up when things get tough. The best in the world understand this. They know that there's never a perfect time to start, and there's never a perfect moment to feel motivated. But they also know that they can't afford to wait for the perfect conditions. They show up every day because they have a vision of where they want to go, and they know that taking action, even when it feels difficult, is the only way to get there. Let's say you're working towards something important, something big, and you hit a tough day. You feel like throwing in the towel, or maybe you feel like the obstacles are just too much to overcome. That's exactly the moment when you need to keep going. If you can push yourself past that feeling of wanting to give up, you'll see the rewards. It's not the easy days that will get you to your goals. It's the tough days, the days when you're tired, frustrated, and mentally worn out, that will push you to the next level. Remember, consistency doesn't mean working all the time. It doesn't mean burning yourself out. It means doing something every day, no matter how small the task, to move you closer to your goal. If you keep showing up, if you keep doing the work, you'll get there. It doesn't matter how slow the progress seems at times. As long as you're consistent, you're moving in the right direction. There are times when the work feels exhausting, and you just don't want to keep going. But ask yourself, what will it feel like if you don't do the work today? What will it feel like if you keep putting it off? You're building habits that can either push you forward or hold you back. The best way to ensure that you make progress is to show up, even when it's hard, even when it feels like it's not worth it. Because the truth is, it's always worth it. So how do you stay committed when you don't feel like it? First, you make your goals non-negotiable. When you set a goal, you don't just make it a wish or a desire. You make it a commitment. A commitment means that you're going to do whatever it takes, no matter how difficult it may seem in the moment. You don't allow yourself to make excuses, even on the days when it feels like the easiest thing to do is to quit. You remind yourself that showing up is the key. It's the daily habit of putting in the work that will get you to the finish line. There's no easy path to success. If you want to be the best at something, if you want to make a real impact, you have to be willing to push yourself even when you don't feel like it. It's not about waiting for the right mood or the right time. It's about creating a habit, a daily ritual of action, regardless of how you feel. Keep showing up, keep doing the work, keep pushing forward. And in time, you'll look back and realize that it wasn't the motivation that carried you through. It was the discipline to keep going, even when you didn't feel like it. That led you to success. Number 9. Consistency separates the average from the great one. That really stands out if you're serious about making progress in life. It's about the difference between average and great. It's about consistency. It's the little things, done day in and day out, that will separate you from the crowd. Here's the truth. Consistency is the hidden factor that separates those who achieve their dreams from those who don't. It's not the big, dramatic moments that define your success. It's the small, consistent actions that you take every single day. If you show up, do the work, and stick with it, even when things aren't perfect, that's what will move you from being average to being great. Think about this. How many times have you heard someone talk about a great idea they have? Maybe they've told you about their dream, their passion, their plan. But then time passes and nothing happens. Why? Because they don't follow through. They get excited at the start, but excitement fades. And without consistency, their dreams remain just that, dreams. They never become reality because they never keep going. They give up when things get tough. They stop when they're not getting results fast enough. They stop when they don't feel like it anymore. Now, here's where things get interesting. The difference between someone who succeeds and someone who fails isn't the amount of talent or intelligence they have. It's not even about the resources or opportunities available to them. It's about whether they keep showing up. It's about consistency. It's the ability to keep doing the work, day after day, even when things aren't easy, even when things don't go the way you planned. You see, consistency requires grit. It requires a commitment to your goal, even when the journey feels long. It's easy to start something new. The excitement is high. The energy is there. But after a few days, weeks, or months, when you don't see immediate results, that excitement can start to fade. When things don't come quickly, that's when most people quit. They decide it's not working. They tell themselves it's too hard. But the ones who keep going, the ones who stay consistent, are the ones who make it. Think about all the things you've started in your life. How many times have you started something, felt really motivated, and then just stopped? How many times have you set a goal, only to abandon it when the going got tough? It happens to all of us. But here's the thing. If you want to move from average to great, you have to stick with it. You have to keep going when everyone else is dropping off. The power of consistency is that it compounds over time. The more consistent you are, the more results you'll see. And those results will build on each other, creating a momentum that makes everything easier. This is where most people miss the mark. They see the success of others and think it's all about the big moments, the breakthroughs, the victories. But what they don't see is the day in, day out effort, the hours of work when nobody is watching, the nights when you're tired, but you keep going, the mornings when you don't feel like getting up, but you do anyway. Those are the moments that lead to greatness. Consistency is the quiet work that goes on in the background, building something solid and lasting. There's a simple rule. Show up every day. Do the work, even if you don't feel like it. Keep moving forward, even when the path is tough. Don't get distracted by the idea that you need to have a big, shiny moment in order to be successful. The truth is, the key to success is showing up every single day. If you want to separate yourself from the average, this is what you need to do. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. It's about having the discipline to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. And this doesn't just apply to work or career. It applies to every area of your life. Relationships, health, personal growth. Every area you want to improve requires consistency. Think about your health. If you only worked out when you felt like it, you wouldn't see any results. It's not the gym session here and there that leads to health and fitness. It's the consistent effort, the daily commitment to eating well, exercising, and taking care of yourself. It's the small choices made over time that lead to big results. The same applies to your personal growth. If you read just one book on self-improvement, it's not going to change your life. But if you make it a habit to read a little bit every day, you'll start to see a huge shift in your mindset and your life. It's the daily practice of learning, growing, and improving that makes you better. Think about the compound effect. It's a simple concept. A small action, repeated over time, has a much bigger impact than we realize in the moment. The effort you put in today may seem small. You might not see the immediate results, but keep going. And those small actions start to add up. Over time, the compound effect takes hold, and you start seeing the fruits of your labor. That's how success works. It's not about huge leaps and dramatic changes. It's about the consistent steps you take every single day. Now you might be thinking, but I don't see the results right away. I'm doing the work, but it feels like nothing is changing. That's part of the process. Realize that success isn't always instant. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes patience. If you want to see results, you have to stick with it. The results will come, but they come over time. They come because you stayed consistent, even when it felt like nothing was happening. That's when you start to see the difference between average and great. This is the mindset you need to adopt. Consistency is a mindset. It's a commitment to your future. It's the understanding that every day matters. It's knowing that your daily actions are shaping your future, even when you can't see the immediate impact. When you commit to showing up every day, no matter what, that's when you start to build something truly great. And that's when you start to separate yourself from everyone else. Consistency is the key that unlocks the door to success. And when you consistently do the work, day after day, you'll find that success is no longer a distant dream. It becomes your reality. Number 10. Winners keep showing up. No matter what, it's something that if you understand it and embrace it, will change everything for you. It's about not giving up, even when you feel like you're at your lowest. It's about pushing yourself to keep going when you're broke, when you're tired, when things aren't looking up. It's about doing it anyway, because that's how winners are made. We all have those moments. You know the ones I'm talking about. The days when nothing seems to go right. You wake up and it feels like everything is against you. Maybe your plans fall through. Maybe your bank account isn't where you want it to be. Maybe you're just exhausted from all the effort you've put in, with little to show for it. And in those moments, it's easy to think, what's the point? Why keep going? Maybe I should just throw in the towel. But here's the thing I want you to understand. Those moments, those hard times, are not the end. They're just a part of the journey. If you want to achieve anything great in life, you have to be willing to go through those tough times. You have to be willing to push forward when things aren't going your way. Because success doesn't come to those who stop when they're tired or frustrated. It comes to those who keep going, even when they're tired, broke, and worn out. You've probably heard people say, it's easy to be motivated when everything is going well. And that's true, isn't it? When things are going smoothly, when everything's lined up, it's easy to get excited, to put in the work. But what happens when things don't go your way? What happens when you're not getting the results you want? What happens when you feel like you're working so hard and it's not paying off? That's when most people quit. That's when they give up. They stop doing the work. They stop showing up. And that's why most people never reach their full potential. But if you can learn to push through those tough times, to keep going even when you don't feel like it, that's when you'll start to separate yourself from the crowd. It's easy to do the work when everything is falling into place. But the real winners, the people who achieve greatness, are the ones who keep going when it's hard. They keep showing up when they're tired. They keep pushing forward when the money isn't coming in. They keep working even when they're not sure if it will pay off. Because they know that success doesn't come from giving up. It comes from persistence. And here's the thing. Every time you push through a tough moment, every time you get up when you don't feel like it, you're building strength. You're building mental toughness. You're training yourself to handle the challenges that come with success. The road to success isn't easy. There will be obstacles, setbacks, and tough days. But if you learn to push through those tough moments, you'll develop a strength that will carry you through anything. Now let me tell you something important. No one said that the road to success would be a straight line. It's not always going to be easy. There are going to be times when you question yourself, when you feel like nothing is working, and when you wonder if you should just give up. But I want you to understand this. Those are the moments that matter the most. The moments when you feel like quitting are the moments when you're closest to a breakthrough. Think about it. Think about all the successful people you admire, the ones who have accomplished amazing things. Did they get there by giving up when things got tough? No. They kept going. They faced challenges. They had setbacks. But they didn't stop. They kept pushing. Even when they were tired. Even when they were broke. Even when things seemed impossible. They kept showing up. And here's the best part. You don't have to be perfect to succeed. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to keep going. That's the secret to success. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. It's about doing the work, showing up every day, and never giving up, no matter what. Now, I know it's hard. I know there will be times when you feel like you can't keep going. But I want you to remember this. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how tired you feel, no matter how much you want to give up, you have it in you to keep going. You have it in you to push through. You have the strength, the determination, and the resilience to keep moving forward. When you're tired, keep going. When you're frustrated, keep going. When you're broke, keep going. Because in those moments, you're building the foundation for your success. And every step you take, every time you show up, even when it feels like you're not making progress, is getting you closer to your goals. And you know what? You're not alone in this. Everyone who has ever achieved anything great has faced the same struggles. They've all had those moments when they wanted to quit, but they didn't. They kept going. And you can too. You can keep going even when you don't feel like it. Because that's what winners do. Winners keep showing up, no matter what. So here's my challenge to you. The next time you feel like quitting, don't. The next time you feel like throwing in the towel, don't. Push yourself. Get up. Do it anyway. Keep going. Keep showing up. Keep doing the work. Because that's how you'll get there. And when you do, you'll look back and realize that all those tough days, all those moments when you felt like giving up, were the moments that made you who you are. You are stronger than you think. You are more resilient than you know. And if you just keep going, you will find success. No matter how tired, no matter how broke, no matter how hard it gets, keep going. Because the winners, the ones who achieve greatness, are the ones who never give up. And that can be you. You just have to keep going.